Of the July 11, 2023 meeting of Greenwood Redevelopment Commission to order at 4:30 p.m. Amanda, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Here.
Mr. Harris,
Present.
Mr. Hoover,
Here.
Mr. Moan.
Here.
Non-voting improviser, welcome to the commission, Mr. Zaborowski.
You got it. Yeah. Here.
And let the record show at this time, David Hopper is not present or online via Zoom, but if he does connect, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Before us, we had the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, our last meeting of June 13, 2023. Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval as presented?
So motion.
Second. Harris, Mr. Moon. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do that without a roll call. As long as name's not on there. Under new business, we have resolution number 2023-06, a resolution approving an application for property tax deductions for certain personal property located within the Greenwood Central Expansion Economic Development Area. This is from Nachi Technology, Inc. We have someone who's going to enlighten us on this.
Just for a few minutes, if you don't mind.
Please.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Good.
Good. My name is Alexis Souter. I'm a director of client services with KSM Location Advisors. I am here this afternoon on behalf of Nachi America, Nachi Tool America, our key subsidies underneath the local brand. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention who we also have here in the audience. Joshua Case, the controller treasurer for Nachi America, and Tim Allman, who is the president of Nachi Tool. So really just wanted to give you guys just a brief overview of this project and our request for your support and partnership for this hopeful investment that Nachi will be making in the coming year or so. I think, we all know Nachi has been really an exemplary business partner here in Greenwood for quite some time. But to just kind of level set, and for anybody who's online following at home, just to tell you a little bit about Nachi, they are a global manufacturer of innovative products, including bearings, precision cutting tools, hydraulic equipment, machine tools, robots, and high-speed steel. As I mentioned, there are several entities that are located here at the Greenwood, American headquarters, right? So you've got Nachi Technology, Nachi Tool America, you've got the Nachi Technology Center, and then you've got some sales offices that are supporting the operations from those companies. They located their headquarters here in 2009, and since then have, again, just really kind of been an example of what a corporate citizen should be in a community. As a city, you all have recognized Nachi's commitment to their clean environment. You've awarded them the county's Environmental Stewardship Award, lots of partnerships just in environmental outreach initiatives, and they've been a member of paper since even before locating here. So that's since 1989. In terms of community involvement, again, just kind of a poster child for what a corporation should do in any community. The Nachi Technology entity is a supplier of Honda, so on an annual basis, Nachi participates in their week of service. They've given back to Greenwood just in terms of doing a lot of cleanup, obviously like a focus on environmental sustainability, planting grasses for here for the Greenwood Storm Drain Commission. And then they've done things like supporting the shelter for battered women, having a food drive for the Johnson Food Bank, and also doing a local backpack and school supplies drive that benefits the local school system here in Greenwood. So really quick, again, just probably primarily for those following at home, but for those of you who wouldn't be familiar with where Nachi is located, just wanted to kind of give an overview there with a little screen capture from maps out there on Pushville Road is where Nachi is located and is where Nachi Tool is located within this facility as well. So that's the project that we're talking about here. So really what Nachi Tool America is looking to do is expanding their services into manufacturing drills And so for this to happen, we need to, they need to make an investment in additional advanced manufacturing equipment, just making them more efficient and increasing their already high quality products. So to do that, they are going to be making a planned investment of about $13.6 million. Again, that's going to help them to create, operate, and maintain the drill production lines. All of this is anticipated to be done by year-end 2024 at the latest. They will retain the Nachi tool jobs that they've got here in Greenwood already. And as a part of this investment, that will generate the creation of a few more jobs as well. We've listed 5 in the application. You see 5 here in the PowerPoint presentation. It will likely be a touch more than that. But again, just the semantics of working with you all and partnering on incentives. We want to set a threshold that's certainly achievable. I would also just kind of verbally mention this is a project that will probably be done in a couple phases, right? Phase 1 is pretty much through the approval process internally on the Nachi side. And there is likely a phase 2 coming. So earlier today, I actually thought it would just kind of be interesting to kind of go through. You guys have, the city of Greenwood has partnered with Nachi quite often on some of their larger expenditures, both machinery and equipment, and on their real property and expansions that they've had to make. And really just over the years, the partnership with Nachi and the city of Greenwood, just those projects alone that have yielded some incentive support is north of 65 million and well beyond 50 jobs. So you can just kind of see how the continued partnership on something like, in this case, a personal property abatement, can then just lead to additional investment across the companies. In addition, I guess I should just mention, they are, in terms of their benefits as well, certainly support their staff really well, have a robust health insurance program, which averages to about $1,400 per month per employee that Nachi contributes, bringing the overall average wage to $24 an hour plus. So the Greenwood impact, again, would be Nachi would be making an investment of about $13.6 million, creating at least 5 new jobs here by the end of year 2024. Even with a tax abatement in place, and what we're hopefully going to be able to garner your support on would be the request for a 3-year personal property tax abatement. Even with that in place, you're still going to get personal property tax revenue on this equipment that would be close to $165,790 in personal property taxes. And then once that abatement burns off, again, just for this tranche of investment, there would be a property tax bill of roughly $105,000. So again, in conclusion, we would ask for your support today so that we can continue through the approval process in seeking a 3-year personal property tax abatement on this investment. We would be planning to appear before council next week and then go through the subsequent meetings to get to our final approvals.
Well, thank you. Questions for processes?
So KSM, just to get it on record, that's Cat Sapper,
Yes, it's the
Okay.
KSM's tax
and it's a consultative arm of Cat Sapper. Do I have that right?
So we are KSM location advisors. Often I think people think of KSM consulting at the same time, which we are two different entities.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that up.
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. Watson, anything in the application that we need to have documented?
Nope.
Further? Okay. Any further questions? Well, we have resolution 2023-06 in front of us. Would you like to address this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Second. Mr. Campbell, second by Mr. Moan. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
And Amanda, I'm gonna go ahead and sign. Okay?
You just want to sign it on the other part.
Next, on the old business, we have nothing, but we have things coming forward, talk about capital project reports. Evening, Kevin. Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon. Somewhat busier day today, but we'll move through it. The first is actually kind of a wrap up of a historical project. If you remember, when we actually came for one of these funding requests, that this aggregates them. We had Browning Day where the Parks Department paid the contract for the design of the field house. There were two supplementals, their ad service 6/15 and 9/15 of 2021 to integrate and place that development within the 523 Madison development. And so Parks was the holder of the contract, but actually those two service requests that totaled $11,080 were actually responsibility of essentially the RDC for uniting essentially sidewalks, drainage, utilities, coordinating that with the plan for the Madison when we sold off that property. And so what we'd like to ask the RDC is to essentially reimburse the Parks Department $11,080 of that contract for Browning Day that they paid for the field house. That dealt with the integration of systems, infrastructure, connection to Black Creek Development. It'd be funny from the central to.
Questions for Kevin? Motion by Mr. Monroe, second by Mr. Harris. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
And then the next place we go on there is actually returning to Fieldhouse property. You'll see a variety of scopes on here for a couple of different projects. If you think about 5.3, brought the map up to me, there is still a parcel known as Parcel A up in front of the field house on the north side that the GCDC and the RDC kind of control, obviously, /own. And now that the Madison is being built out, we'd be seeking a proposal from Rundell Ernsberger and Crossroads Engineers to provide a new survey and a new concept design, schematic design of both that area and the public space in front of the field house, north of the field house, which is grass now, as to what could be done with that, both on the civic side and on what could be essentially sold or offered on the private side. So you'll notice a theme with these next three scopes is we've got some strategic parcels that we've accumulated over the years. Now that we're through the pandemic and hopefully the relentless rise in interest rates stops at some point, we would be moving to start to offer these or parts of these parcels back to the private sector while adding amenities. And the total on that one was, I believe, $32,400 payable from the central tip, which will allow us to move forward with kind of conceptual designs for the parcel north of the field house, as well as what could be built and offered on partial A, which is still owned by the government. Yeah, any questions?
Questions for Kevin?
And will they be just providing a variety of options, or do we have something in mind for planning that they're gonna design for us? I'm just curious.
We know roughly the original shape of the building from a master plan was putting a building out the street, having some sort of parking that interplays with the plaza. Well, it's grass right now, but they will be planning ideas, conceptual ideas for the public space and doing some schematic design. The intensity of the use or what they think is viable on parcel A will have to complement and work with the public asset in front of the field house because of things like parking, utilities, connectivity. So they'll take us through schematic and then we can come back to this board, meet with stakeholders and decide how we want to move forward with re-offering that parcel essentially.
Other questions? Kevin? We have a special citizen contract in front of us. So, pleasure of the commission.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
If you remember, when we did the middle school development, just that color to that, we basically provided massing, provided kind of some general standards, and then on the RFP, when we issued it, we had 5 different private developers who had different opinions about uses, what would go there, what they thought was viable private sector. That will allow us to make similar offerings, but will give, obviously the flexibility. Different developers have different ideas what works, and then this board, the rest of the relevant boards of the city can work together to see what makes the most sense. Very similar scope, smaller area. This is the former Casa Miguel / Between the Bun site that we are partnering with Todd Anthony, who owned what was the house there. You can see it here in the picture. It's right on Madison Avenue with Pearl. It's an empty lot right now. We would again work to get the base mapping done for that area. We would look at what could be put there. Could you put something retail up on the street? Do you put some housing? Could be sold off for maybe some housing back by the other residential housing? Do you incorporate a little green space in there? Just various options to do that. And then we'd be able to go out onto the market and look at potential ideas for that. And that would be $24,500. That could be paid for because it's on Madison Avenue and that going down to the Fry, East or Central Tip, whatever our controller needs as most viable. All 3 are eligible expenses there. But again, another piece of property where we remove blight. In this case, was able to remove 2 blighted areas, a blighted house and a building. Partner with a local investor and have something we get back on the tax rolls.
Questions for Mr. Steinmetz? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval? Thank you, Mr. Harris. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I apologize, I moved to C before I went to B.
Did you skip something? You're trying
Amanda
to-
gets slapped
I'm
my
just trying to
name.
confuse.
Just trying to find it.
Yeah.
Skip.
That's my fault. I apologize. I have it stacked the wrong way.
As long as you take credit for it.
Yeah. I know. So the third one of these similar deals, which is to take the land that we have, look at the ability for amenities and infrastructure around it, and then prepare for essentially RFPs or RFQs development is the presidential block. You will notice though that, and I'll hold this up in the exhibits, that the scope is slightly bigger than the presidential block. It goes up into what we have affectionately called the stormwater buyout zone that the RDC helped them with on some points. And so you can't really consider the properties that we required on Main from what was Sports Plus by the old co-op all the way over without thinking about, okay, how does that connect up along the creek where we have purchased all those houses. That creek then goes up to Northern Park and Northeast Elementary School. do we look at how, there's a long-term plans for a trail corridor there, correct, Rob Taggart? Trail corridor, Northeast Park, dream, yes. That's what I say. So how does that area kind of sits at a node, right? Because you're right north of Serena Square, but you also can connect up into kind of east part of Old Town. So how does the development look there? You know, does Washington Street become a trail? How does that, development face both the street, Craig Park / Arena, as well as the connectivity over towards where the South Side Art League is, and that green space is, and the broader trail. So for that, it's slightly more money because look at that broader thing, it's $54,600 for that deal. So we can get final plans and have implementation strategy for that at the presidential block. And that can be east or central tip dependent upon that.
Kevin, the contract we had, just when I had before, he says 57.6.
What did I say, 56.7?
You said 54.6. but it's
Oh, it was
57.
57,
Okay.
600.
Other questions for Kevin on this one? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the professional services contract as presented?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Campbell moves, second by Mr. Harris. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Last that you'll have for me is sports park. We are obviously building that out. It's obviously going to have a lot of visitors, and as part of that, we would like to deploy the ERS security video monitoring system there. Parks is actually going to be paying for part of it. It'll actually have to be a 2 meeting because it is $130,377.88. But before we go to that second meeting, we need to do the, man, give me the special language. Essentially a finding that it is an exclusive provider. It is determination of special purchase for the installation of the video equipment. This is the provider of the Motorola-based product that Center Grove Schools has in. We have been at other places in the city, including at the parking garage, and are deploying it throughout, which is an integrated video surveillance system that is our kind of standard of care now for public spaces, particularly ones with lots of visitors and young people. So I guess on this one, we just need to have a finding of the special purchase determination, which I think we can do by motion, right?
But yeah, they have a determination, yes, by motion.
It's the only provider of that mobile system that we are already using in the city and are working with. Center Grove has it as well, encouraging others to.
Amanda, do all members have a copy of the proposed?
It was sent out, yes. It's on.
And
Any questions?
You say the Parks is paying a portion of this?
They
And
will be, yes, this is.
what portion are you asking us to pay?
This 130,377.88 is a portion of a larger number.
Okay.
It is 40 acres that we'll be bringing on at one point in time, so it's an extensive area, but we've got a church, 3 schools, and then our 40-acre park, so if there's ever a place to deploy it, this is it. But I'm not asking you to fund anything today because it's over 100,000. I'm just asking you to
Through the process.
introduce the deal and then approve that this is a sole source provider. This is the rep for the Motorola product in the area. And this is the system that we've used on other city assets, and the school court, Center Grove School Court kind of introduced us to it.
Does it mesh currently with a system that we have?
It
that
is.
why it's a
Yeah,
sole-
we are deploying this at the airport. We are deploying it at the parking garage. It's already up at the airport, right? The police training center, a long-term goal, because Greg's just gonna make some money, figure out a normal is to slowly replace out other assets that have a similar profile, lots of visitors, lots of young people. This new, much better camera system, they get places, parks, et cetera. So we have some assets like this building and others that are on different systems, just because this didn't exist yet. But new ones and upgrades will come onto this.
Is there ongoing cost for maintenance, because
That's just in the operating budget that we pay out of information technology. We already have some of it now, we present it to. But this is the preferred solution by a lot of people across the country, including GPD, for how we're going up in your space.
I think one of the important things we have to consider and determine tonight is what's happening is that this is ERS is the sole.
The Motorola vendor of the product there.
Can't have US Army. Is that correct, Mr. Watson?
Yes, they have a nice motion prepared for us with this paperwork.
They have a motion, and I was trying to figure out the difference. I think I figured out the difference because there's a separate determination as well. Looks like the memorandum with the motion is intended to be used at the second meeting. Because it
Yes,
talks about
for-
authorizing the expenditure itself.
Yes, but as we were doing that, wording from the past, we need to have this, right, I mean, that,
Yes.
yes.
So you need the
Just like
determination.
sort of the second paragraph.
Yeah.
of the-
Still good.
We just needed the determination now, and then when we came back to the second meeting, it's over 100,000.
Sounds like Mr. Campbell's ready to make that motion.
Yeah, I am.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I have one quick question in the middle of that.
Let's
Can
do a
I-
second. More discussion.
I'll say.
Thank you, Mr.
So this organization, I guess my question is the determination of this says that we're gonna only use this vendor, not put this system out.
Correct, because this is the system that holds on to the rest of it. There's other key people in the county who use it that we're talking, that integrate with. This is the provider of that Motorola solution in the area, and we're gonna hold this on,
And nobody else can.
and that's their deal. So it's like when you have a playground piece that one person makes, or, we need one specific type of fire apparatus or something. So it's not really something you can go out and solicit competitive quotes.
Further discussion? Motion on the floor?
And just as clarification, your motion was to approve the determination that was presented today.
Yes.
And fine, this is the sole source. Apply. All in favor, say aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you, Mr. Foster, for a bunch of that information you presented to us. Financial report, monthly financial report. Good afternoon, Stone.
Hey, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Dan.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to share my screen. And let's see if this works. Okay, can someone confirm they can see this screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So mostly for the new member, the link has been updated. We've got that out there. As far as in addition to the monthly report, through June 2023, we did receive the first half tax increment finance distribution from the county. Those have been made available in your packets as well. The increase year over year was approximately 3% or so between 2022 and 2023. It's approximately 30% higher than 2021. When we look back at 2021 and 2022, on average, the spring distribution was approximately anywhere between 56 and 58% of the annual total collection. So we're projecting that into our 2023 forecast as well. Our current forecast with that assumption is slightly, in some cases, slightly ahead, as you see, in some cases, slightly below. Some of that is that when we did the TIF appropriations last fall, it was before the Pay 23 rates were certified. So we essentially carried forward the pay 22 rates in that projection. In hindsight, the assessed values actually went up quite considerably for pay 23 and therefore put downward pressure on the tax rates. So pretty much across the board in all the different TIF districts, there has been a decrease in the actual tax rates being applied for pay 23, which impacted our revenue projections in some cases kind of by a negligible amount, in some cases by a higher amount. So we're monitoring that and we'll continue to report back. But in any case, $8.4 million in approximate terms have been collected, and we're anticipating just shy of $15 million in aggregate this year, and we'll continue to provide updates with that. So are there any questions on as far as the mid-year TIF revenues?
Don't hear any.
Okay, very good. And then the second item, and I believe this came out as a part of the amended agenda, was the recommendation relative to the general fund, the city general fund RDC budget. So as you all know, each year you appropriate your TIF dollars, which is really your capital projects, debt service, those types of things, from incremental real estate taxes that come from the assessed value that's captured and generated. But separately within the city's general fund, there is a small administrative budget as well. In current dollars, it's approximately there's 35,100. It has been the past practice of the Redevelopment Commission to essentially carry that forward. Year to date, and I compared this year to date, there's been $6,250 expended. That's mostly professional services and member per diems. The last couple years, that utilization has been quite low. In 2021, the total spend for the year on the general fund budget was $12,730. And then last year, it was $11,510. The majority of those savings are to the professional services line. With that said, our I guess position would be to go, this is a recommended budget. So we think that it's fair and reasonable for the Redevelopment Commission to at least recommend that its current adopted 2023 budget be continued or carried forward. And if that's, we would just ask for a motion or consensus of the commission on if they want to recommend that it stays the same or if they want to make any sort of modifications to the general fund budget.
Your wishes, recommendations, Mr. Watson, anything different that you?
That has historically been what we have done, and so I support that.
Okay. Got a motion to that effect? Thanks, Mr. Harris. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Adam.
Very good. That's all I have. Thank you.
Next, moving to department reports. Mr. Hodson, anything from Corporation Council?
Nothing for Corporation Council.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Watson?
I think today.
Mr. Ryder? That's it for me. And roll. And Mark St. John's going to vote. City Engineer, Mark St. John. Afternoon, Mark.
Yes, good afternoon. This shouldn't be too long. I can present both of these together. We closed on 2 additional parcels for Smith Valley Road roundabouts. I have the offers here before you today. I'm asking to authorize payment for right-of-way acquisition. The first is for Smith Valley Road Egret. It's parcel 5. It's for Brendan Amy Shoemaker in the amount of $13,600. And the other one is for Smith Valley Road and Woodman Boulevard, parcel number 2, owned by the Nancy K. Blackbird Revocable Trust in the amount of $500.
In the Averitt Road one, the Shoemaker property is which corner? Or?
It's the southeast corner of the intersection. It's not the one on the corner, it's
So Brian has
immediately
no-
adjacent to that.
You have a comment?
No.
Not your problem. Okay. Well, let's do the, let's address the Averitt Road roundabout first. Is there a motion to approve that?
Make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Campbell moves, seconded by Mr. Moan. Further discussion?
I would request that you make the motion state that the list offer sheet has been produced as well.
Mr. Campbell, was that yours?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I'm sure it is.
Just
too,
for the
Mr.
record.
Moan. Thank you.
That's what I definitely meant by my second.
No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then let's do the Woodland Boulevard. So whoever makes that motion, if they please to do so, add to the list offer sheet as well.
I just have a question on that. So Woodman Boulevard, tell me exactly where that is.
It's the main entrance from the high school, so it's the boulevard entrance, there's a traffic signal there today.
Gotcha. And so I'm trying to understand what that has to do with the roundabout that's further west.
Well, we're putting a roundabout. in.
Putting it
There's
around
two
about
different
there.
roundabouts,
Which
yeah.
spot?
Yeah.
Front of the
Okay,
school.
yeah, that makes
Two
sense.
different roundabouts, the one at Smith Elliott Neighborhood has federal funding, the one at Woodman, we're funding 100% local.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
So is there a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Anything from the mayor's office? Present? No. Okay, we have claims docket in front of us. The total claims of $1,238,706.31. Today's date. Is there a motion to approve the claims docket?
I'll keep my record going on motion.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Second that.
Thank you, Mr. Mann. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And Amanda, since this is something that both Mr. Hopper and I signed, should I sign this place as well?
No, since he's absent. it'll be fine.
Any other business come before the commission? Hearing none. And adjourned at 5:08 PM. Thank you all.